Welcome back to Leeds Lately. For today's video, we're going to be looking at Leeds United's retained list, so a little bit of a Leeds update for you. Now, of course, if you don't know what the retained list is, this is a list of players that every club has to submit by a certain date, and they have to basically say, these are the players that we are keeping, these are the players that we're offering new contracts, these are the players that are being released, etc, etc. So we're going to go through, there's a lot of kind of expected things in there, just young players getting new deals and stuff, but there is a couple where it has raised eyebrows, certainly for me, so let's have a little look at it. But before we get into this one, make sure you do hit that big red button down below. So the first one, the most sort of interesting one, is Sam Byram, and that is something that will please Leeds fans. I know some people have saying it's showing a lack of ambition, but I think when you look at how well Sam Byram played over the course of last season, and to get him on a free, it was fantastic for us, and I think he's always good to have as a backup option, even if you are going to sign somebody else, because he can play left back and right back. So following players triggered a 1-year extension clause within his contract, so that was always there. Apparently, he's always had that option to have that extra year added on, and I think it's a very good decision by the club. You secure yourself somebody who played really, really well last season. So Sam Byram gets himself another year at the club, so we'll see him again come August or whenever the season starts. So that's good. There's a few that actually are surprising in the released list, so we'll go through that now. The following players will be released when their contracts expire, which will be June the 30th or July the 30th, one of them. May the 30th even? I think it's June the 30th though. So Charlie Allen, who was at one point thought to be a very up-and-coming good youth player for Leeds, he has been released. Luke Ayling, of course, is someone where we did expect that to happen. Now that he went on loan to Middlesbrough, they aren't going to extend his contract. He's going to be able to go there on a free, and I'd imagine that they'll probably be going back to Middlesbrough given how he had such a really good second half of the season. Lewis Bate is another big one. Now, Lewis Bate, I always thought, and from his clips in the youth teams and stuff, I always thought he was going to be a really, really good player for Leeds, and I have to say I'm quite disappointed to see him go. I think, obviously, look, people at the club see more from those players than I do, obviously, but I do think that from what I did see of Lewis Bate over the years, his passing range, his tenacity in the midfield, I thought he was a very good player, or a very good prospect of a player for the first team. Perhaps it's his size. He is very small and maybe not strong enough yet for Leeds, and maybe they can't wait for him to beef up enough to be able to make the cut at Leeds, so they are going to let him go. Keenan Carroll, just another youth player, not just another youth player because obviously human being, but another youth player who we didn't know a massive amount, or certainly I didn't know a massive amount because I haven't spent that much time watching the youth team, but unfortunately for him, he's going to go. Stuart Dallas, of course, is one that we all knew about because of his retirement. Stuart Dallas, amazing professional, so dedicated to the cause, and what a good player he's been over the last God knows how many years playing for Leeds, one of our longest serving players. Cuba Dibbo, Scott Godden, Morton Spencer, Harvey Sutcliffe, all youth players that have been released. Jan Poveda has been released, and he will be able to go to Sheffield Wednesday, or actually whoever else comes in for him. I would imagine another Championship side might try and pip Sheffield Wednesday to the post. But yeah, Jan Poveda is going to be going as well. Another one where we thought he was going to be kind of, not the next big thing, but thought he was going to be a promising prospect, and never really quite panned out for him. Danny van den Heuvel as well, young Dutch goalkeeper, obviously had that terrible car accident not so long back, which had him out of action for a while, and Leeds obviously don't see it as worthwhile keeping him on because he's probably never going to have that path through to the first team. The following players have been offered new contracts by the club. So a couple of youth players, Harry Christie, Joseph Snowden and Luca Thomas, all youth players, of course, who will get a contract extension. But the interesting thing for me is Cody Drama has been offered a new contract. Now, I haven't seen anything yet to say that he's rejected the offer. So at the moment, I think that offer just still sits there for Cody Drama to have a look at. But I think this is interesting. I think this is one of the ones that caught my eye the most from the retained list, because Cody Drama, it seemed like he's had his chance at Leeds, then he doesn't take it, he gets sent out, has a really good season on loan, comes back to Leeds, doesn't do much, gets sent out on loan, has a really good season on loan, comes back to Leeds, and the cycle seemed to be repeating itself, and everybody kind of thought, well, that'll be it now for Cody Drama, and he'll be gone. But I do think there's certainly a player in there, because he's shown that when he's been at other teams, but just never shown it at Leeds. So whether they're going to loan him out again, or maybe just extend his contract to try and sell him and retain some value, I don't know on that one. But keep your eyes peeled about Cody Drama, because he's either in Daniel Farke's plans, and that's why they've been offered a contract, or they're trying to get some money out of him. So keep an eye on that one. The club is in talks with the following players about extending their contracts. Now, this is interesting because the top one is Liam Cooper. So Cooper is in talks about extending his contract, which I thought, and I think everybody else thought, this would be his last season and that he would be on his way out. And that's why in the Norwich game, he came on for the last, 5-10 minutes and got a bit of a standing ovation from the crowd. I thought that was his swan song and that was his goodbye. But no, he is going to stay on for another year if he decides to agree this contract. Now, again, this is another one where you can say, well, are they doing that so that they can get a Saudi club to come in for him for however much money and preserve his value? We don't know. I can't imagine his value is massively expensive at the moment anyway, but you never know with these things. So keep an eye out for Liam Cooper, whether he signs a new deal or not. Jamie Shackleton is another one who is in talks with Leeds about signing a new contract. And Jamie Shackleton, I thought, is a good... I think he's good to keep until you get to the Premier League, is what I would say. And it sounds a bit harsh saying that we could just get rid of him because he's a Leeds lad. He's always supported the club and grown up through the academy. But I do think that he has a certain level and it's not the Premier League. But what I do think is I give him credit for being a very good and tenacious, quick, hard tackling, just a good all-round hard worker of a championship player. And I think that is invaluable. It gets overlooked a lot when you look at championship squads, but to have a player like Jamie Shackleton who could play right back, left back, centre mid to a decent standard, I'm happy for Jamie Shackleton to have another year. The following following players will return to their parents' club following the conclusion of their loans. So those who you would expect. Jayden Anthony going back to Bournemouth. I don't think there's any chance of him making that permanent. Connor Roberts, of course, going back to Burnley again, who did get relegated, so you would imagine that they're probably going to need Connor Roberts next season. I don't think he had a massive impact on our season anyway. And the main one, the one that people want to know about, is Joe Rodon. So Joe Rodon, Leeds are going to have to cough up, I think, because I think Spurs are offering him a new contract. So if Leeds want to buy him, they're looking at around £10 million, I think. So similar to what we played for Joel Peru in the Championship, it seems like it could be a lot of money. You could get another loan player in and then maybe look to invest when you go up to the Premier League, if we do. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Joe Rodon. So keep your eyes peeled on that one as well. And then as well, we'll mention it, the following scholars have been offered a professional contract. So these are players who you might not have even heard of because they've obviously, they're kids basically who've been offered the first professional contract. So 17, 18, Archie Gray's age-ish. So Connor Douglas, Ruben Lopata-White, Joseph Richards, Daniel Toulson and Marley Wilson. So congratulations to those lads who've made their first professional or signed their first professional contract with Leeds United, the club that we all love so much. So yeah, that's going to be this video. If you want to discuss with me any of the things that we talked about in this video, get down in the comments below. Make sure you hit that big red button down below and hit the notification bell as well, because we've plenty more content on the way this summer. Thanks for watching Leeds Lately, and I'll see you in the next one.